now the water has boiled. You put the pasta in, and then you take your can of corn and you put it in the pan. And then you take your diced tomatoes, put it in the pan also. Then you take your baked beans and you put them in the pan. Okay, now I just drained the pasta, and now you put the pasta in the pan. Then you take your hot dogs that you cut up before, and you put those in the pan also. Hi, I'm here to teach you how to make Hooves Stew. So what you do is first you get the water boiling for the pasta, and then after that you're going to take your hot dogs and cut them up. This is what Hooves Stew looks like. This would have been a fancy meal in the Great Depression, or a meal that we would eat on a daily basis. So, Mrs. McElroy, how do you like the Hooves Stew?
I think the Hooves Stew is very tasty.
Would you serve this with your family now?
I actually would, because they like corn and macaroni and hot dogs. The beans they might not like.
Okay.
Very hot.
So, Mrs. D, how do you like the Hooves Stew?
I'm surprised, Kevin. I never would have thought to put all this stuff together, but it actually does taste fairly good. Beans and hot dogs I've heard of. Pasta and tomatoes, yes. Corn always can get thrown in a lot of things, but to mix it all together like this, it's kind of interesting, the flavor.
Would you serve this to your family?
I'm gonna say my family probably wouldn't eat all this like this, because we don't usually eat hot dogs or bologna as much as some people do.
Mm-hmm.
But it's an interesting flavor, and I suppose if I had nothing in the pantry, and I'd probably pull the hot dogs out or the preserved meat, I suppose we could put it together. It's really quite tasty, surprisingly.
Mm-hmm.
What I'm noticing is that there's not a lot of spices in it. Nowadays, we seem to use a lot more spices than they probably did in the Depression, because they aren't as available. And again, I noticed that you used a lot of canned food, so it's food that's already been prepared.
Mm-hmm.
So probably because they couldn't get as many fresh things, we like to buy a lot of fresh produce and a lot of fresh meats, and try not to eat packaged stuff as much. But I suppose this was really probably a nice meal for people in the Great Depression. I know for my grandparents and my husband's grandparents and all, they would use every piece of an animal. So when we're talking about kidneys, hearts, intestines, all kinds of the meats, and obviously with the hot dogs and the bologna that you recipes are on, that they're used with cheaper cuts of meat, developed with cheaper cuts of meat. So they would use everything from an animal. So they were always by the heart. Tongue. Have you ever had tongue? Tongue was a big thing in the Great Depression also. So between canned food and Spam. Now we all laugh about Spam, but if you were a Girl Scout or a Boy Scout, you remember Spam from the days in terms of being able to cook because it was easily storable. Refrigeration wasn't great. I'm surprised, Kevin. You did a good job on the food here. Hooves Stew, I will remember. Thank you very much for exposing me to it.
Thank you. Ben,
Yes.
take the first bite.
Oh.
So Teddy, how do you like the Hooves Stew?
Great.
Take another bite.
No, it's okay. No.
Would you serve this to your family?
You're taking too long between questions. I'm just like, after a question, I'm just like, wait.
So Josh, how do you like the Hooves Stew?
Pretty good.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Would you serve this to your family?
Yeah.